This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
And this is Kyrsten Leister at Burger_Lurker on Twitter.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Okay, cool. Okay. Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com, more of our podcasts at ObsessiveViewer.com/podcasts, and you can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. God. I'm your host, the aforementioned Matt Hurt, and with me today is recurring co-host Kyrsten Leister.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Great, good,
I've got
lovely.
this crazy... I thought you said ugly for a second. I was like, oh my god.
What's up, ugly?
Yeah.
Just ugging around, you uggo?
Jesus. I feel attacked.
Good, because I'm attacking you.
We just recorded a special Patreon exclusive recording, which can be found at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer if you pay us. Yeah, we talked about some hypothetical situations. I am now deathly afraid of snails. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And, so, and unfortunately, you're not, taking a vow of silence for a year, so.
I'm not.
Yeah. Oh well.
Nice try.
Yeah, it's, I have some stuff on my sleeve.
All right.
So, so today on the podcast, we have a lot of stuff to cover. Are you prepared for this, Kyrsten?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool. Because we're really lax here. You would say we've been formally lax here, so we're ex-lax. Shitting.
Ew.
So, I know. I know. We don't want anyone thinking about you pooping.
Yeah. Not like that guy at Kroger.
Right.
When I was trying to mind my own business and buy toilet paper.
Which I don't think we've ever actually, put into context in this podcast. And I kind of
Is that women poop?
Yeah, well, it's the myth. I don't know. So.
Well, consider it proven.
Oh, okay, good.
Because I have done it.
Wow. Have you? Okay, real talk. Have you pooped in my apartment?
No.
Okay. Ever?
No, I don't think so.
Seriously?
I'm a morning pooper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I am a, every 15-minute pooper.
There's something wrong with your
I
body.
think so.
You should see a doctor. You shouldn't be pooping every 15 minutes. And also, you don't go to the bathroom every 15 minutes, so what is going on
You don't
in your
want
pants?
to know.
The people want to know the truth, Matt.
Okay, stop sexually harassing me, first of all. We're going to get into that stuff later in the podcast. We're talking about the Twilight Zone. So, but yeah, what we're talking about today, we're going to be reviewing Ma.
Okay, you just dropped the whole...
Oh yeah, dropped all that. I dropped those kids off at the pool.
Man, I don't want to think about you doing that.
Hey, I'm an empowered man who poops. So, yeah. Okay, so
You are here for my enjoyment, and I don't enjoy that. And
I see what you're doing there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Flipping the old script.
Did some meteors drop down? Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about... First, we're going to review Booksmart, because that's the first movie we saw of the batch that we're going to be talking about. And then we're also going to review Ma from Blumhouse Productions. Mm-hmm. We'll do a non-spoiler first and then spoiler, so check the show notes if you want to navigate the spoiler sections. And then, of course, as always, when Kyrsten is gracing us with her presence on the show...
When I'm gracing myself.
Right. We're going to talk about LOSTPoint, which is our ongoing... project where we have each selected a TV show for the other, and we meet every now and then, and we watch a few episodes of each show, and we talk about them on the podcast. So, and then we're going to round out the show with a discussion of the 2019 Twilight Zone Season 1 episode, Not All Men, which I'm very excited to get your thoughts on. So, big episode here, so let's just dive right into it.
Splash.
Yes.
Did you just explode? Was that you pooping?
That was me pooping. Like, okay. Hashtag real talk. I do poop in the pool a lot, so I don't know why I said that. Because it's dive in. I don't know.
Matt, you said hashtag real talk.
I know. That means it's real. I have not pooped in a pool.
That means that talk is real.
Okay. I've not pooped in a pool.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
You said hashtag real talk. You said hashtag real talk.
Shit.
Yeah, shit.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I kind of hate this bit that I just walked us into.
Us,
yes.
You walked yourself down the plank in front of the firing squad. Oh, man.
Oh, I would shit my pants if I was in front of a firing squad.
I mean, if not before, then definitely after, because after you die, you typically void your bowels.
Oh, I would eat the biggest meal ever just to stick it to whoever has to clean up my me.
my me. So let's talk about Booksmart.
Let's do. First, real quick, I meant to ask you about this. Before we get into our reviews and stuff, did you see the trailer for Onward from Pixar?
Yeah, that's the one about the fantasy with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I did watch that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
That's a good pairing. And I love Tom Holland so much.
Right, that's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Baby.
He's just a little baby.
Oi, you're a little baby.
We need to talk about that. But anyway. So yeah, I think it looks like
Octavia Spencer's in it too. So
yes,
that'll be cool.
Connect.
Yeah, good cast.
Yeah. I just love the idea of Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Yeah, what a good pair. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I really like Pixar doing original movies.
Yeah, not another Toy Story.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting movie, I think.
I think so too. It looks fun.
Yeah. So before we get into our Booksmart review, I do want to highlight that pizza saved my life today.
Debatable. It's not even debatable because
not debatable because she's so
I'm
crazy.
not a threat.
Okay. Okay. So we were on the couch and we were watching our assigned media.
Yeah.
Our
assigned media. Okay, Professor.
Yes, thank you. And Pizza was laying very comfortably on my lap, and I was giving her lovin's because I'm her daddy and she loves me.
And Matt had paused it to tell me something.
Yes.
Yeah, because he does that.
And do you want to tell your side of the attack?
Every time I glanced over at you, there was like a fuzzy piece of lint, like stuck right on your eyebrow, and you had paused it, and I was like, okay, enough. And so I was like, I warned you beforehand. Because, I'm just reaching at your face. I'm like, there's a piece of fuzz on your forehead, and I'm just going to grab it real quick. So I leaned over, and from Pizza's perspective, I guess she saw me lunging at your face, and she turned around.
Claws out.
She turned around and she hissed at me.
She did.
And then took off.
Okay. Now, I was thinking about this as we were watching, like, your show. But
because you definitely were not concentrating.
I was concentrating very well. So, she did jump off of my lap and run away, which is, she knows that I'm strong enough to take care of myself. But I do want to mention that she didn't necessarily run away so much as run to a spot on the carpet where she could have potentially lunged at you if she
could have lunged at me from right there, though.
She's very comfortable on her daddy's lap, and she knows that if
but she did. I mean, it was kind of sweet because it was so like from her perspective, she thought I was attacking him.
Yeah.
Because
as much as I hate to admit it, she doesn't understand English. So she didn't.
Wow, I am shocked.
I know. She's so pretty though. She's a little baby. Protecting her daddy. I can't do the accent unless it's those combinations of words is the only accent I can do.
You practice it every night.
I do.
In the mirror.
Seriously, I do.
I believe you 100%.
Hashtag real talk. I say it a lot in my apartment.
So you have pooped in a pool?
I haven't. That was a separate thing.
It was still hashtag real talk. Anyway.
So Booksmart.
Go talk to her. She's got a really cute smile.
Amy, do you know how many girls are going to be up your vagina next year? Every time I come to visit you, you're going to be scissoring a different girl.
Dude, scissoring is not a thing.
Don't knock it until you tried it. Don't knock it until you tried it.
Ow!
It's the last day. We got you through high school.
I need to go over the end of the year budget numbers.
Can't we just graduate, head off to college? That should do it, right?
We will persist.
I can't hear you. I can't soundproof glass.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
Booksmart is a new film. It's the directorial debut of Olivia Wilde, written by Susanna Fogel and Emily Halpern, Sarah Haskins, and Katie Silberman. Susanna Fogel wrote and directed a movie that I told you about, called Life Partners, that was available on Hulu like a while back. It's very good and charming. I think Gillian Jacobs is in it, and can't remember who the other actress is in it, but it's like two like BFFs who are kind of codependent with each other. One of them enters into a serious relationship, and it's how how their friendship is affected by it. So it's really good and cool. So anyway, plot description of Booksmart. On the eve of their high school graduation, two academic superstars and best friends realize they should have worked less and played more. Determined not to fall short of their peers, the girls try to cram 4 years of fun into one night. So, Kyrsten.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Booksmart?
Booksmart?
Booksmart.
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 I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
You don't see a lot of quirky coming of age comedies for women. You see that a lot for men.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't get that a lot for young girls. Lady Bird, we got that one.
Yeah.
But this one, I especially love the strong friendship between the Molly and Amy.
Amy, yeah.
They just, I don't know, such a strong bond. You don't see that a lot for young girls. You know, like a lot of times there will be like, if there's a coming of age story, there's like a bunch of guys and there's one girl in the group and she's one of the guys, you know.
It's tokenism.
Like it, you know.
Yeah. Don't you besmirch the work of Mr.
Yeah. You know, but like,
Eddie's mom was in the movie too.
It's sometimes in media, girls are not allowed to be friends with each other. Right. They always have to be competing.
It's got to be,
you know, it's always
thing.
Be an adversarial relationship.
Yeah.
And this was so not that.
Right.
Even when they had a big argument, it wasn't because they were competing with each other over anything. They weren't like fighting over a boy or who had, you know, is better at this than the other one or anything like that.
Right.
You know, it's just very refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
So it was cool and I liked it.
I agree completely. And it was like, it's very much in a similar vein as Superbad from 2005. And I loved Superbad. I think it was 2005, maybe in 2007. But, it stars, I forgot to mention, Caitlin Dever and
Beanie
Feldstein, who was in Lady Bird.
Yeah.
And
I loved her in Lady Bird.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And she's also the sister of Jonah Hill in real life.
Fun fact.
So yeah, fun fact. But so it's very much in a similar vein as Superbad, but it, like you said, it's so different and unique because it's a similar premise, but from the point of view of two
and just a very different movie.
Yeah, and it's very different because like Superbad has like an undercurrent of codependency between them and between Seth and Evan in the movie, and also that movie is much more about kind of the showcasing the different types of like party scenes also, because like if you go back and watch Superbad, like they go to a bar, they go to a house party, they go to the high school party.
Well, I will say in this movie they go to a boat party, they go to the murder mystery party.
They do, but like in Superbad, like it was deliberately, from my perspective, it was deliberately done to show the different like stages of like party and drinking and everything. Like, you know, when you're in high school, you go to like
and that was not the point of this.
It wasn't the point of this at all. So that's my mini review of Superbad. But Booksmart has a really just fresh vibe to it.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and the connection between the two leads.
Their chemistry was
So
it was
good.
really good.
Yeah, like right off the bat when Amy is picking Molly up, or is that her? Yeah, Amy and
it's Amy's
Molly.
car. Yeah, Amy.
Yes.
Amy. Yeah.
And they do this a couple times, but they just start like dancing just randomly.
Yeah, for like a really long time. It's just so cute.
It's so cute. It's so goofy.
Yeah. What I love is their compliments, the way they compliment each other. They came out, they're getting dressed up to go to the party, and so they do like their outfit reveal for each other, and they both have chosen like the exact same outfit, like a blue romper type outfit, and it looks so corny first of all, but they come out and there's like dead silence, and they're like, oh no, are they going to be like, one of us has to change, you know? And then they immediately launch into, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Are you crazy? Like, the sun cannot shine its brilliance on you because you're so magnificent. Like, I can't hear you. I'm just stuck on your beauty. Like, it's just, it's just, their back and forth is just really cute. So and it's fun. Like, yes, girls support girls. Yes. Yeah. If I could go back in time to when I was in, like, middle school and high school and just grab every girl by the face and just shake them and be like, girls are not your enemy. Girls are not your competition. Girls are your teammates.
See, and I think that
support them and accept support from them.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty
just
big
shake them.
There's a pretty big difference there because if I were to say the same thing, I would get arrested.
Yes.
If I could go to a middle school and just shake all the girls, that would be great.
Girls are not your enemy. Right? I am your enemy.
Anyway,
but like it was just such a healthy, relationship.
And like they were, like you said, they were supportive of each other, and it was like, it's even when they had like their big like quote unquote breakup moment. It, like you said, it's not about it. It's not even that it wasn't about like it wasn't like they were fighting over like a girl or a boy, or they were fighting over some like thing that in high school it means the world, but
but in the grand scheme of things,
nothing. But also, they were fighting because they had like a bunch of stuff built up, but like they were fighting over something that like both of them weren't aware of. I'm trying to keep it vague.
Well, it was one of them is trying to protect the other's feelings.
Yeah,
and that's
so good
where it comes from. Yeah, it was very well done. It was quirky and funny and smart. Yeah, it was book smart. I really enjoyed it.
Did you saw my tweet because I told you about it, right?
I'm sure.
Immediately after the movie, I tweeted and I said, just got out of Booksmart. There was not a single bookstore in that movie.
There was a library, and you can oftentimes buy books from the library.
It's not a mart. It's not a market for books. It's like a place.
No one calls a bookstore the market for books. Well, let's go to the market for books and market some books.
Maybe if they did, they would still exist. Anyway, that's my hot take on bookstores in 2019.
That take is so hot.
Yes.
I'm going to drop it because it's so hot. Let's just drop it on the floor. Let's just drop it right in the trash can and throw it away.
That's a fire hazard because,
because it's hot.
It's hot. So, do we even really need to do a spoiler?
I don't think so. No, I do want to talk about the one scene that I didn't like.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is considered a spoiler.
That's not spoiler.
Okay.
Because, as I said to you in the car, it's pretty much a prerequisite in any R-rated comedy these days that there has to be like a drug trip scene.
Yeah. And there was one.
Yeah. So how did you feel about it and why did you
So the scene in question, they accidentally ingest, I don't even remember what it was.
It was like
peyote or something, something weird.
I don't remember if they were very clear
acid
on it.
Or something.
Like it looks like cocaine, but it's like supposedly like laced with something else.
No. It wasn't the cocaine. Okay. It was the strawberries that they had on the boat that Gigi gave them. Gigi was like, you guys aren't feeling it yet? And remember, because that's just vitamins. They clear that up quickly.
Right.
That's just vitamins that they thought was cocaine.
Okay.
But
may not pay attention.
When they were on the boat, Gigi feeds them both strawberries. And then later at the murder mystery mansion, she's like, you guys aren't feeling it yet? And they're like, feeling what? And she said there was so much acid or something on those strawberries or in the strawberries.
I missed that about the strawberries. But anyway, so they start tripping.
And they hallucinate themselves as dolls, like Barbie doll type things. And there's an actual scene where they're like
stop motion animation.
Where they're Barbies.
Yeah.
And it was weird. And then like the punchline to that is as they're leaving the party, they're back to it's them, it's the actresses, and they're walking stiff, like they have Barbie doll arms and legs and everything, and that was funny, but it was weird. It was really out of place.
It slowed down the movie, and it went so long for that short punchline.
Yeah.
And it detracted from it.
I mean, I could have done a scene where it was the actresses and they think they're Barbies,
to actually go into the animation.
It just really took me out of it. It was kind of weird.
It's also, and anytime there's like that, and like I said, it's damn near every R-rated comedy, and it's getting so annoying to me because it's like, it feels like it's something that, like, that scene wasn't needed in the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't think so.
The movie had enough, content and enough propulsion to really carry it through. It just feels like that type of thing. Anytime I see it, feels like they're checking something off.
Yeah.
Like the studio, it tells them like, oh, market research shows this.
Yeah.
So let's incorporate that.
I don't think I laughed once during that whole scene.
I think I chuckled a little bit.
Yeah.
But follow-up question for that. Have you ever gone to like a murder mystery dinner thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's not like a thing that people really put together.
Have
you?
No, I want to though.
I think you need to put one together then.
I think so too.
So there has been a murder and you are a suspect. Gotcha. Let me just put my stuff down and I'll be right back in, boss. And then he takes up. That's a office.
Yeah,
the office joke there.
Murder in Savannah.
You are a suspect.
We'll also have to watch Game Night. Did you ever see that?
No.
Okay, yeah. And I also need to show you blockers.
You need
too.
to pump the brakes.
I need to show you all this content. Yeah. So anyway, the parents. Like, let's talk about some of the supporting characters.
Yeah.
The parents, Will Forte, and who was the mom?
It was Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, Lisa Kudrow,
yeah.
right.
They were fun.
They were so great.
Yeah, they were
and,
really
like,
funny.
They were great, and like just I kind of came out of it thinking like, okay, I kind of wish I had more of that, but like in retrospect, it's like the perfect amount of them.
Yeah,
they have like
it wasn't
2
overdone,
scenes. Right?
Yeah, what they did was funny without it being like over the top.
The way, like, I won't spoil it, but their second scene later in the movie pays off something that's established earlier in the movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I couldn't contain my laugh. Like, I was laughing like much harder than anyone else in the theater.
It was really funny.
It was really good. Mike O'Brien? Oh, no. Yeah, Jason Sudeikis as Principal.
Yeah, Principal Brown.
Principal Brown, yeah.
He was very funny. Yeah, his little arc was.
Yeah, it was
really
very. I like how he's just so done with it at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then when he comes back into the movie, it's God, it's so that scenario, that scenario. That happens is to reference Patreon.
No, you shouldn't have said anything.
I just need money. Because you're gonna break my legs over this.
You need root beer float money.
Yes. So patreon.com/obsessiveviewer.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Also Billy Lord as Gigi.
Yes.
Was hilarious. She was so weird.
She was weird, a wild card, and like just a scene stealer.
Well, and it took me a minute to understand what was going on with her. Because the first scene with her on the car, I was like, okay, she's like a little bit dramatic. Yeah. What's going on? And then it's like, oh, she's just nuts. Yeah. She's just crazy. Right. In like a really fun way. Good. It was really funny.
And I didn't know that it was Billy Lord. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
And then the two theater boys, Alan and George, they were very funny.
I love that first scene where they're like, we're going to be doing Shakespeare in the parking lot. Yeah. I was like, that's really good. But you did have a comment that you were like, no one in high school is like no theater.
I went to a performing arts high school. Mm-hmm. And they were just like regular kids who like, I also do soccer, and it's like, I mean, no one in, like, I'm sure that there are people who are that dramatic, but high school is like, you want to fit in, you know, and no one is like weird like that. I don't know. But also there's no one like Gigi at anyone's high school. So. Yeah. But yeah, also, they were funny. They were funny.
Another thing, a big part of the movie is Molly is the class president. Mm-hmm. And like, it's not something that bugs me or anything, but like, anytime I see like movies or TV shows depicting high school, like showing like, like student government is a huge deal. I'm like in my high school, when I was in high school, like I didn't get a sense of anyone really caring about student government. So it's always a weird disconnect for me.
Katie Carr was our class president. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a popularity contest, to be honest. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
but like the whole like, we need to go over the budget. For
no, I don't think they ever did anything.
Right.
Now, here's a kind of a funny story. Mm-hmm. The senior, like, class
student body.
The student body. They were supposed to plan our 10-year high school reunion, which would have been last year because I graduated high school in 2008.
When you were just a little baby.
Oh wait, don't hate.
Wow.
That was our thing.
05.
You got hives.
We're alive. I think. I don't know. I don't know. High school's a blur. But
so they made like this group on Facebook, and I already was like, I'm not gonna go. Whatever they're doing, I'm not interested in going.
I was gonna ask you if you were.
Oh no, no. Not. I mean, I had fun in high school, but I am such a very different person now, and I just have no interest. I mean, the people who I want to maintain contact with, I have maintained contact with.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's kind of a normal thing.
I don't want to go back and go and be that person that I was again. Not that there was anything wrong with her, but I'm not her anymore.
Right.
I'm better now.
Right.
But so they set up they set up like a thing. They took all this money and then they canceled it. Because it was like so people never got refunded their money and got super shitty. And then they dropped off Facebook. Like
seriously?
Yeah.
Like, how many people were in the Facebook group? Like, were people like
hundreds?
Oh my god!
Yeah, I had a huge graduating class. I went to IPS. And we never had anything.
That's nuts.
We never had any kind of reunion. And I'm just the whole time I'm like, ha ha.
So you saved money and you're throwing around milk root beer float money now.
Yeah, that's right. I got
but my high school reunion happened, I think, a couple years ago, and it would have been 2015. My graduating class, I went to a small high school, Speedway High School. Shout out.
So 7 people?
74 people in my graduating class. And some people on Facebook put together a Facebook group for the high school reunion. And, I always, it's so weird to think back because when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I can't wait to go, to my high school reunion and, see how everyone's doing.
Well, because you probably thought you were going to be, hugely successful, I'm going to be, an astronaut, millionaire. And also I own a Batmobile and I have a ranch and a supermodel girlfriend. And now it's nyeh.
3 podcasts, I'm doing fine. Just cry myself to sleep. But, no, not really.
It was a good one.
Yeah. But I think only, because I kind of followed the Facebook group.
So you didn't go?
I didn't go.
Oh.
I'd kind of completely forgotten about it.
So you were gonna go, you just overslept that day, or?
No, deep down I was never gonna go. It wasn't a big thing. It was people in the Facebook group were like, okay, well, we should all get dinner or some night for our high school reunion. And I went back because the night of that, I was I'd forgotten about it, and I saw people posting about it, and there was I want to say 5 or 6 people.
Oof.
Yeah, and it was
ouch.
Yeah, and granted, okay, it was a small graduating class, but my thought was it would have been cool. I would have been more interested in it if more people were going to go. And in a weird way, if they had rented out the gym at the high school or something and had it there. I think that would be the only thing that would kind of compel me to go to a high school
Our
reunion.
thing was supposed to be at a club. They said they had rented out a club.
Oh my god.
And it was going to be but it was going to be cash bar only.
Oh.
And they needed all this money, but it's still cash bar, and everyone was super pissed about it,
Jeez.
and then it just ended up not happening. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a shit show. I mean,
that's nuts.
I got plenty of entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, I'm sure.
We need to talk about the pizza guy.
We do. Yes, Mike O'Brien.
What
right?
a great weird scene that was.
Such a great one.
Well, and it was. You know what? We can probably talk about it because it was in the trailer.
Was it? I didn't even see. I don't remember seeing the trailer. Yeah. So what did you think? It was Michael O'Brien, who is. He was a writer. He's the creator of the TV show AP Bio, which just recently got canceled, unfortunately. It has Glenn Howerton and Patton Oswalt. If I get this posted in time, there is an online campaign for it's people are trying to get AP Bio saved, and it's
people do that for every single show that gets canceled.
Yeah,
it's kind of overdone at this point. They can't shows get canceled. That's what happens,
right? And I can't attest to the quality of AP Bio, but there is a hashtag save AP Bio.
The only show in recent history that had this calling and deserved it was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, totally agree. Oh, yeah. And I'm so... God, I haven't watched any of it, but I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
So the pizza driver scene was really good.
It was so well. It was so funny. And the payoff for it was great.
Oh, great.
I just wish that they had set it up in the beginning of the movie.
Because, well, I agree. It would have been good to kind of see that earlier, but as I get further away from it, I kind of like it because when we get the scene, like it feels like just a one and done scene.
Yeah. But you don't connect it at that moment, though. It's not,
True.
You wouldn't. That would just be like a throwaway thing, and then this one and done scene, a standalone scene, and then at the end, it's like, oh, wait, which you get that, but it would have. I just feel like it would have been a bigger payoff.
You would have liked to have just the concept of what it was paying off at the end seated earlier, but not not showing.
Correct.
it.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, just like you hear the report in the background while the parents are cooking in the kitchen or something.
Well, I'm going to email Olivia Wilde. She is a fan of the podcast. Probably not. I don't know. So
I think you'd know if she was.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So other characters, I really liked Skylar Gassando.
Oh, was he the guy?
He was Jared, who was kind of paired up with Gigi. He was in Vacation, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Santa Clarita Diet, Wet Hot... Oh, that's where I knew him from. Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later. So he was really good.
Yeah.
And he kind of had like I wouldn't say underrated, but like kind of a surprising arc in the movie because he was... Like, he was a character who was so flamboyant about his people's perception of him in high school. Like, he was like that guy.
Yeah.
And
he was rich, and he thought that would make everyone like him.
Right. And his kind of heart-to-heart toward the end of the movie with Molly was just, like, really, like...
Kind of out of nowhere, and it was refreshing.
Yeah. He just wanted to design airplanes.
And then fund musicals.
And fund musicals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Anything else on Booksmart?
No, I really liked it.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot because kind of backstory. Kirsten's phone. There was an incident that is blameless.
My phone fell out of my pocket, and I feel like I should be able to sue the fashion industry for giving women pants with half pockets. Either you have false pockets, so you buy some pants and you get home, it's like, oh, I thought they were pockets, but it's just a flap of material that's sewn on the outside, so it's not a pocket at all. Or you get like 3 inches of pocket, and that's maybe it's my fault. I shouldn't have put my phone in my tiny little woman pocket, but I shouldn't call it a woman pocket.
I know. Don't do that. This is. I was gonna make a joke. I'm not gonna make that joke.
Don't make a joke about my woman pocket.
No, I'm not gonna. It was. I was gonna say like save that. No, I'm not gonna say that. Because I want to get away from parking lot specials.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
But my phone fell out of my pocket, and it cracked, so I got a new phone.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. But you mentioned that you had all the information for your ongoing list.
Yeah.
Did you do it? Did you input it? Okay, where is Booksmart on your list?
I put it at number 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's okay. Us and Avengers Endgame is above. Cool. Nice. So, yeah, that's Booksmart. It's really good. Go check it out because, like Kyrsten said, there's not a lot of like these. Okay, so like as we were walking out of the theater, I told you like this is my type of movie. Like I have such an affinity for one night teen party movies, like one night teen coming of age party movies, and like this was that to a T. And like not to again put you on the spot or anything, but like I had loaned you my DVD copy of Can't Hardly Wait, which is another movie in that sub genre, and you had it for years. I have it now. I recovered it, but just wanted to say you had it for years. Anyway, yeah, and you love the movie now.
It's all right.
Anyway,
I mean, I obviously could wait.
Right. Yeah. And like, we watched it when, like, we were both pretty hungover.
Yeah.
Also, in a different state also.
Yeah.
But anyway, this type of movie is the movie that I like, the type of, like, coming of age comedy that I love. And it delivered on that. Like, being a kind of subgenre that I really appreciate and love and have an affinity for is, kind of could bring about more criticisms about it. Like, it could be a kind of a tougher movie to grade in my eyes. But I think the fact that it is a female-centric narrative that is so not dependent on the way that women are depicted in these types of movies, like, that was such a refreshing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about Jessica Williams. She was really...
Oh, was she Miss Fine?
Miss Fine, yeah. She was good.
I just didn't understand why she went into the party.
Yeah, that arc was really weird.
Yeah.
I did like the thing.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was good. But yeah, so anyway, it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's in theaters now. I might, if I have like a tough week at work, I could see myself like going and seeing it again with A-List. So yeah, and neglecting all the other movies that are out.
Yeah.
So that's Booksmart. No spoiler review on that. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about Ma. So I think this one will necessitate a spoiler review. So let's do a non-spoiler review here. It is a new Blumhouse Productions movie, which kind of Blumhouse, their whole thing. Kyrsten, I don't know if you know about this. Blumhouse Productions, their whole shtick is that they give filmmakers like $5 million to make a horror movie, and they can't, or 5 or 10 million, I don't know, but they can't go over that budget.
No, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating business model, because they give filmmakers a very strict budget, and then that's super low, and then they produce the movie and release it like in kind of the doldrums of like January, February release, or early in the year release. And then, I mean, in one weekend, it makes its money back. So it's a highly profitable business model, and it's something that like they do a lot of kind of, they save some people from director's jail, like people who have made films that aren't that good in the past and can't get work.
Gonna go to prison.
Yes. Oh yeah. Most recently, that was M. Night Shyamalan. Split was a Blumhouse production movie. Actually, it started with, The Visit, and then Split, and then now Glass. But it's a very highly profitable business model. So Ma is the latest from Blumhouse. I'll go ahead and read the plot description if you want me to. A lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. Just when the kids think their luck couldn't get any better, things start happening that make them question the intention of their host. This movie stars Octavia Spencer as Ma, Diana Silvers as Maggie, who also appeared in Booksmart.
Yeah, as Hope.
Yeah, and Juliette Lewis as Erica, and some other performers. Written by Scotty Landis and director Tate Taylor. So, Kyrsten, what did you think of Ma? What were your expectations going in, and how did you feel coming out of it in non-spoilers?
It was really good. It was a good suspense, thriller, horror-y.
Kind of psychological.
Horror-y.
Yes.
Horror movie. Octavia Spencer.
She's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, really just fantastic in the role. Something that we've never seen her do before.
Yeah, I don't know how, I haven't seen this movie, but I don't know how creepy she was in The Help. Was she creepy in The Help?
I didn't see The Help.
I don't know.
But I don't think so.
No, not so much. But
yeah,
she super unsettling.
Really, she was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, the way that like this type of like it did a good balance of being fun and suspenseful and scary. Like, there are moments where she is, and this is kind of something that's, I think M. Night Shyamalan has tried and hasn't done very successfully. Like, I'm thinking about in particular The Visit, but Octavia Spencer and Ma is like, she does this weird thing. Like, she does these like socially awkward, like, party things, like when she's dancing with the kids and stuff. It's like
it's like kind of cringy.
It's cringy,
you know,
but it's also like it's like the cringe is the veneer on top of like the super unsettling. Like, oh, there's something wrong with this woman.
Yeah.
So hypothetical, real quick. If you were we already talked about this, like,
but not for people.
Yeah. So if you were in high school and your friends wanted alcohol, and some woman was like, "Hey, I'll buy you alcohol, but you have to party at my house," would you have done it?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. First of all, I didn't drink in high school.
Right.
So I mean, I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't a narc, you know.
Right.
I didn't like stop my friends from drinking.
Okay.
But I didn't drink. I didn't like go to parties where I knew that there would be drinking.
Right.
Mom and Dad, if you're listening, they're not.
Okay. If just in case they are, I can vouch for that because when we were on our way to the movie theater, I think you went into very vivid details about your AP Bio or AP.
Oh. Yeah, I was such a nerd. AP biology my senior year. Yeah.
So #save AP Bio. But,
Mr. Kiss.
Anyway.
I wouldn't. No.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I was cautious. I was pretty smart, you know, always have been.
And
I wouldn't go to someone's house that I didn't know. You know, I went to like parties that like were at my friend's house, you know, and her mom is there and, you know, serving pigs in a blanket, you know.
Like the parents in Booksmart, like they have like names for it. Like, my lovely daughter pizza bagel.
It was all graduation stuff.
Yeah.
It was funny.
But and I told you that I was a lot more dumb.
You weren't cool, you were just dumb.
I was pretty stupid. And, you know, honestly, I probably would have. I would have made, like, I would have been like, oh, you know, yeah, why not? Like,
everyone else is doing it. Like, what's gonna happen? Is someone what's gonna happen to all of us?
Right.
Yeah, well, this.
Yeah, exactly. And, I probably would have been dumb enough to do that. And I think that that's one of the things that I liked about the movie is that it kind of depicts, like, an interesting balance between, like, dumb teenagers doing things that shouldn't be logical.
Because here's the thing. Mm-hmm. She was so non-threatening.
Yes.
Like, that's, I mean, the kind of person you would trust would be that kind of person.
Yeah.
You know, she's middle-aged, mm-hmm. she's a veterinarian.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small town, so they all kind, you know, they've probably seen her around. She was walking a dog, you know.
Walking a 3-legged dog at that. So
I know.
That, I think
the dog isn't even threatening. You know, it's, I mean, you couldn't have picked someone who looks, you know, less like a serial killer.
Right.
You know, in that, so you think you're gonna be okay.
Right.
But, spoilers, they weren't.
Right. But then it was a really interesting psychological thriller. It was very, like, tense. Like, there was some really interesting surprises sprinkled throughout it. We'll talk about that in spoilers, but, throughout the movie, like, I didn't know quite, like, it kind of feels like the type of movie that would be kind of cookie cutter. Like, okay, well, it's just like kind of a cookie cutter kind of premise, and you know it's Blumhouse, so they'll just throw money.
There were some good twists.
There were some very
stuff
good
that I
twists
wasn't expecting.
Surprised me and carried through to the end pretty well.
One thing that I really appreciated is that the teenagers looked like teenagers.
Yes.
A lot of times in movies with teenagers, they'll understandably cast like young adults, like people in their 20s, sometimes even 30s, to play high school age students, and these were, I mean, the kid who played Andy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know how old he really is, but God, he looks like a child.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they even, McKaylee Miller, who played Haley, she was like the pretty one in the group, you know? She had, you know, she wore a lot of makeup, but she still looked like a teenager.
She really did.
You know? And, and they looked like, and they spoke like, and they behaved like teenagers, and I really appreciated that. It just felt very grounded in reality.
And like the kind of classic kind of trade-off in that area is that like casting people who are older and skewing younger for that by casting like adult actors, it's like, okay, these are the type of performers who have been in the business for a long time, so they know like their craft a lot better. But like casting like young adults in young adult roles, it's like there's that trade-off where it's like, okay, well, are they going to be like good? But they all did a really good job. Like, I really enjoyed the performances.
All the kids were really good. Diana Silvers was very good.
Oh yeah.
She's got like this, I don't know, very kind of haunting appearance.
Yeah.
You know, it played very well.
Mm-hmm.
As Maggie, I liked Dante Brown, who played Darrell.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I mean, they were all really good.
Oh yeah.
I also loved Stu.
Stu. Oh, which one was Stu again?
No, he was the coworker,
the coworker.
her mom's coworker,
That's
Dominic
right.
Burgess. He was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him.
He was good, and also Julia Lewis is in it, and she I haven't really seen her in that much recently. She did good.
Maggie's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really solid psychological thriller.
Yeah.
The scares were well maintained.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of it wasn't like jump scare stuff.
It was more mood and atmosphere.
That's why I would classify it more as like a suspense psychological as opposed to like straight up horror movie.
Right. And kind of toward the end there are some very horrific elements.
Yes.
But it's not they're spread out well enough. It's paced well. And it's a good escalation of the tension throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I liked it. Should we talk about spoilers for it?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to go into spoilers for Ma. I'm going to play a clip from the trailer here, so once that trailer stops, we're going to go into spoilers for Ma. So if you haven't seen it, skip ahead in the episode. Check the show notes, obsessiveviewer.com/OV284 or in your podcast app. So, here we go.
Seriously? She's harmless. And her basement's pretty much the best drinking spot in town.
We can't go up there. Shh. What the hell?
Thanks for these earrings.
What happened last night?
You don't remember, do you?
Are you guys mad at me for something?
I don't want to hang out at Ma's anymore.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone.
Max, I want you to meet someone.
Spoilers on for Ma.
Ma. Oh,
So,
boy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gruesome stuff
There is.
done to children
Yes.
in this movie.
I mean,
So if you don't like kids,
right.
check it out.
Yeah. Very, very unique things.
What do you think is the worst thing that was done
The dog
in
blood.
the movie?
Dog blood for the adult.
That was the worst thing.
Well,
For me, it was
sort of.
the iron.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know he was unconscious for
Yeah.
it, but
the
that
mouth sewing shut was the worst.
Yeah, I thought you said the dog blood was the worst.
Well, it's
if they had cut off his dick, that would have been
That
the
would've
worst,
been- oh my
hands
God.
down. I mean, I don't even have a penis, and I still no. When I thought they were going to do it,
that's I was squirming so much.
They actually showed his penis, though.
They did.
There was actual penis, guys. There's penis,
Yes.
for a flash, but it's not anything sexy. It's
Right. No. Unless you're in some really weird shit.
yeah. For me, it was the iron. I mean, just burning his skin like that
Yeah.
was a little. Definitely, Darrell made it out fine. He made it out the best.
The face is the most terrifying thing.
Guys, at the end of the movie, she basically drugs all the kids, the original core group of kids that she had invited over to her basement, and she's got them. They're unconscious, and she's got them chained up. And Maggie is she's the only one who wasn't
conscious
drinking.
one.
She didn't
Right.
So she's awake and she watches as all these kids are unconscious. Ma is torturing them.
Yes.
Haley, she sews her mouth shut.
Fuck.
Chaz, she burns his stomach with a hot iron. And Darrell, she takes a paint roller and paints his face white.
Right.
And then afterwards when they're all out and safe, he's looking traumatized out on the grass, and I'm like, dude, you woke up with paint on your face. I know it was scary,
Right.
cause the building's on fire and oh my God, what's happening? But look around. You're okay.
Right. But I think what I was getting at with the dog blood thing, because she also, Luke Evans is the actor who plays
Ben?
Andy's
dad?
Andy's dad, yeah. So he
Ben
is strapped to a bed, and he he wakes up and he's naked under has a towel over him, I think, and he has an IV hooked up to him, and you just see that it's blood from a dog.
Louis. You know the dog's name is Louis, and I didn't realize until afterwards when I was thinking about it. When she attacked the dog, that's when she took the blood.
Yeah.
I for some reason I was like, well, they drew blood at the vet, but like they wouldn't have, because he was just getting shots. But like that's why she attacked Louis. It wasn't like just. I mean, maybe part of it was like to freak out Maggie psychologically, but like she was getting his blood. Like that was it. I didn't realize that until later.
Yeah, but like
I knew it was Louis's blood, but I didn't realize like that's when she took his blood.
And my rationale for that being the most terrifying for me is that yes, like seeing her so. Was it Haley?
Yeah.
Like that's like just scream. Like I hate that. Like just yeah. Like it's the worst. But in that situation, she was unconscious.
That's true. But then she wakes up.
And that's terrifying. But just like the thought of being like naked and super vulnerable in bed, chained up to and like having an IV that has like a dog's blood in it. And then, like, the threat of having your dick chopped off.
Yeah. She had his peen right in her hand and, like, had the knife, and she was like, I'm gonna do it. Maybe not.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But then just the thought of, like, I think that whole scenario is just, like, it taps into a fear of just vulnerability and, being completely defenseless. Because
you're never more vulnerable than when you're naked and chained to a bed.
Right, with dog's blood going into your veins.
Yeah, in an IV, I love the setup with Jeannie. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said I would have liked a subtle setup for the pizza delivery guy in Booksmart.
Okay.
Because I had completely forgotten about her. By the time
because they just had that
you find out that she's actually Ma's daughter, you have no reason to think that she has anything to do with Ma or this or anything, and then you find out that she's her daughter.
Yeah,
and Ma is just Munchausen by proxy or something.
And that's so just
and she's keeping her daughter trapped in the house and making her believe, brainwashing her into thinking that she has all these diseases and that she has a spinal disease and she can't walk, but she can walk.
Right.
You know, and then Jeannie comes back in a huge way to save the day.
That was super satisfying, but like the Munchausen by proxy syndrome sequence and everything, like that is just so like that disturbed me also because that's so just messed up. Like
I wonder if they named her Jeannie deliberately to model Gypsy Rose. Do you remember about that?
Vaguely.
It was this. I think she might have been a teenager, but she. I mean, this woman was famous because she had this daughter and she was very sick. She had all these diseases, and they were on the news all the time and to make a wish and everything. And then one day, the woman turns up murdered. And her daughter is missing, and everyone thinks she's been abducted, and it turns out she's fine. She killed her mother.
Is that the basis of the documentary?
A documentary just came out about her. Her name was Gypsy. Okay. The daughter's name was Gypsy. And she's like, my mother, has been keeping me prisoner my entire life, and I think she's in jail now.
Huh. That documentary is Mommy, Dead and Dearest. It's on HBO.
But I wonder if, Jeannie, Gypsy...
I could see that being a connection that was intentional. But the scene where Ma is telling her that they should just go ahead and just shave off her head. Like that was like, I was like, my God, that's just it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know. It was messed up.
It was.
The motivation of Ma, like as being revenge for.
I don't think it started out as revenge.
Okay, it just kind of happened.
Well, yeah. I do think that things kind of got away from her.
Right.
But I mean, she was definitely having like a psychotic break.
Yeah.
And just the. I think at first she was being nice and buying them beer and
she did see that they were in the van that had.
Yeah, but I don't think at that point she was planning all this.
Okay. I could see it as being
I think she liked the attention and the rush that she got, when
trying to reclaim her high school years.
Yeah, and I think that if she had gotten what she wanted, which was just to be the center of attention and to be the life of the party and to have all these kids think that she's so cool and great, I don't think any of it would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think that she was, I don't think that she started out with the intention of, I'm going to murder these kids and kill their parents, I'm going to maybe cut off a guy's dick, but I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But I think that she wanted to
just be accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then she got rejected again, and that was it for her.
Okay. The whole crazy, like, stalker thing where she's, like, texting them and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone.
God, Octavia Spencer was so good in this.
She was so good.
Yeah, so just disturbing and perfect.
Oh, and the whole manipulation thing where she told him that she had cancer.
Yes.
And she did that specifically because she knew that Andy's mom had died of cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She was totally playing on his emotions there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And, like, just... That is such a fucked up thing to do, obviously. Yeah. And also, it just shows, like, there's... Like, she recognizes that she's, you know, in the wrong. Like, there's so many mental gymnastics that you have to do to be like, okay, I'm going to be okay with this. She's obviously a very disturbed character and everything. But it falls so in line with her characterization through the movie because it's just, like, the natural thing. Like, she's trying to figure out a way to keep the party going. And it's just so good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, good stuff. Good disturbing stuff. Good fun disturbing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
There was a baby there, right?
Yeah, there was.
There was a baby.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah. Like I told you, the baby saw Endgame, so now
it's a movie buff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's going to come up with a podcast called Viewer Obsessional.
Oh my god, I would fucking
kill that baby.
No, I wouldn't kill the baby. I would kill the baby's
Guys, he winked right after he said that.
I didn't wink.
He's mouthing right now.
I'm not.
I'm gonna kill the baby.
Now I'm gonna isolate that.
Guys.
And...
Guys.
Quote, I'm gonna
help.
kill the baby.
Now isolate that, why don't you? Gotcha.
Anyway. Anything else we need to talk about, Mom?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was good.
It was a lot of fun when the kids were being murdered.
Yeah.
None of the kids actually died.
That's true. Mercedes, though.
Oh man, yeah, they totally killed her.
Yeah, that was cool. Even with it being in the trailer, like it still
was a great moment. Yeah,
it was good. So yeah, where did that land on your list? Even though I just saw your list, I know exactly where it is.
That's 5.
Nice.
I put it under.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to hear my top 5?
Sure.
Avengers Endgame, Us, Booksmart, Captain Marvel, and Ma.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your bottom one?
Palms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Cool.
Yeah.
What other notes do you have in your app?
None of your business.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is information on my apartment hunt.
Oh, nice.
Comparing like pricing.
You don't
and
have
stuff.
to. I don't. It's fine.
I've got some quotes I have come up with.
Oh.
Just like funny things I think I've thought of that I think will work for a script I'm working on.
Okay. Have you been doing any writing, by the way?
No.
Okay. I know.
Just a lot of. I've been doing a lot of thinking about writing.
Oh, nice.
But not actually like.
I've been
writing.
doing a lot of thinking about doing everything.
A list of stuff I want to buy when I get my new apartment.
Nice.
You know,
like a couch.
Well, a couch is not on there, but I do want a couch, and then like some notes, like short story stuff.
Okay, cool.
That's what I got.
I have notes for podcast episodes, and
we should have done this for Patreon. We should have made people pay for this crap,
right? I have so many lists for podcasts; it's ridiculous. That's all I have, really. So yeah, let me go down.
It's the only joy in your life. That and your little baby.
My little baby. She's got a little baby.
Oi, little baby.
Oi, little baby.
Oi.
Come in here. I can't. I can only
come in
do
here.
an accent.
Oi, little baby. Get your butt in here.
You good cat, in it? I don't know. Governor? Hey, bruv. I can't do accents.
Take a lift and get in here.
No, a lift would be...
God save the Queen.
I hate this.
Crumpet.
All right.
I need to work on my Irish accent.
Yes.
We have read through tomorrow.
Oh, right.
It's not called.
It's not called Winterbeard?
No, it's called Game of Crows.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
I'm
But we
on board.
have read through tomorrow.
Nice.
First, I need to read the script, but also I need to read it in my Irish accent to kind of get back into it.
Right.
You know? So.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to see it. So yeah,
I get to play a villain. I think I'm a villain.
Ooh,
I think I'm
nice.
a villain in this.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that'd be easy for you. Because you're a villain in my life.
I'm your rival.
It's not rival.
Yeah, well, you're right, because you're so far beneath me. It's not.
All right.
I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
So
it's really kind of sad.
You're laughing because it is a hilarious joke.
So, it was my joke.
I was saying that sarcastically. So anyway,
let's talk about Lost Point.
Let's do Lost Point.
Lost Point.
We're going to go into our Lost Point TV Swap Lost Point review project section special, which is the official full title of the segment. Like I said before,
it sounds like a Fall Out Boy song.
It does. My lawyers made me change the name of this segment for so that we don't get sued or whatever that song is.
Yeah.
Our lawyers, but I did it for me. I really like Fall Out Boy, but anyway,
Fall Out Boy's good.
Yeah. So, this segment of the podcast is an ongoing project where Kyrsten has assigned the show Flashpoint to me to watch, and I have assigned to her Lost to watch, and so we get together every now and then, and we watch a few episodes or a couple episodes of each show, and we record our thoughts on it. So, I don't know which one we did first last time, but let's go ahead and talk about Flashpoint, I guess.
We watched those first.
Yes. So these episodes, we watched episodes 8 and 9, the last 2 episodes of season 1. We saw, the first one was Never Kissed a Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was really good. That was the last episode of it was the penultimate episode of season 1, and it was the last episode that I had watched, like, years ago when I started the show. So, the story revolves around this man who has been released from prison after 11 years, and he is trying to get to the truth of what happened, because he was accused and convicted of rape and murder of a girl in
a fellow classmate. He was 15.
A fellow classmate. He was 15, charged as an adult, spent 11 years in prison. So there was a whole thing about,
and whole time has proclaimed innocence.
Yes.
So,
and there's a nice piece of set design and writing in the beginning that shows that the neighborhood is like showing that like they have put up signs saying like there's a convicted felon in our neighborhood, and just to showcase like how it's having a lasting effect on his life. So he goes to the courthouse to try to get to the truth from the prosecutor, and something happens that causes him to freak out. Like it's his last straw, so he grabs.
They won't let him in because he has
the ankle monitor.
Yeah. And they say he needs to be accompanied by an attorney if he wants to come in, and he, just kind of came here on a whim. He's just trying to get answers.
Right.
And he panics.
Yeah. Totally. And by the way, Flashpoint is a show, a Canadian show about kind of Canadian SWAT team procedural drama. This episode has the kind of big hostage situation involving the guest actor. He takes a woman hostage that works there, and also our own Ed Lane.
We are 9 episodes in. You barely know the characters' names.
Ed Lane.
Yes.
The Angry Gnome.
The Angry Gnome.
Is taken hostage as
well.
Who
every time I just kind of glance at the shield, I think that's him for a second. Well, because he's holding a gun, and it looks kind of like. It looks kind of like Hugh Dillon.
Yeah, but
if you're just kind of looking around, like once or twice I've been like, when did Matt get a DVD box at a Flashpoint? And it's like, oh, he didn't.
No, it's the Shield. It's Michael Chiklis on it. So anyway, they're
both bald white guys. Right. What do you want from me?
Yeah, holding guns. So
that'd be a great name for a band. Bald white guys holding guns.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so this episode was another example of the show, taking its idea of like, okay, this is just a man, not a bad man, but a man on a bad day.
Yeah.
Or a person, a subject on a bad day. And like, I really, what was the actor's name? It's hard to pronounce.
Mafo Cowho, I think.
Yes, Mafo
Cowho, who played Michael.
Yeah. He played Michael.
A beautiful, like, raw performance.
Yeah,
it was
very good.
It's always been. I think this was the first episode that I ever saw of Flashpoint, and it's just stuck with me because it's just so heart wrenching.
Yeah,
and
like he has this
vulnerability.
That's the perfect word. Yeah, he's so vulnerable in it, and it's like he's like throughout it, he is like in tears. Like he's like by the end of it, it's like, okay, someone wipe his face off, please.
Yeah.
But like it's just a very raw performance, like you said, and it's just really good.
Yeah.
And I liked how it kind of corresponded with Hugh Dillon's character's arc in the episode, because in the episode it's a callback to the first episode where he shot someone, and he is now being sued for wrongful death, presumably by the family.
Yeah, by the son of the subject.
Right. And so he's at the courthouse just by happenstance for that. So it's an interesting...
The setup, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup, and I like when the show tends to have those types of episodes where, like, I don't know if it's necessarily it hasn't been every episode, and I don't know if the show does this, like, frequently, but, like, having, like, a situation that kind of correlates to, like, the main person that's vocal in that episode, like, their journey.
There's a lesson, and we can all learn from it.
Yes. And it was really well done. I liked it a lot.
It's a good episode.
Yeah. Again, as you pointed out also, when we were watching it, like, another example of the show doing a very unique setting.
Yeah, the courthouse,
yeah. And, like, when they get into the courtroom that's been vacated and everything, just, like, there are some really cool, like, wide shots of the, like, showing the whole, like, courtroom. And it's, like, it's massive. It's really big and empty, and you kind of feel how isolated they are. Or how kind of vulnerable the situation is and everything. There was a thing. Hopefully that was a firework. Murder? Oh, oi! Who's murdering? I can't do an accent. God. Anyway. Oi! My little baby. There we go. So anyway, there was a part where they were debating whether or not to, and I thought this was really interesting. So, the SRU are in an adjacent building, and there's I think stained glass windows that the
they're frosted.
Yeah. So they do thermal imaging for it, and they can see, like, they can clearly make out who it is, like, who is the subject, who is the hostage, and they say, like, no, we're not going to take.
We don't fire on thermal images.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting, because, like, my takeaway from that is that it's to take a kill shot from strictly from thermal imaging, that's taking away the human aspect of it. That's that's causing a disconnect in that. And I thought that was just like a little piece of dialogue that just went a long way in this episode.
I love that's the show's great about that. They just slip really subtle, fascinating things in like that. Yeah, that humanize. Yeah. Each character.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I like that the idea was that if they needed to, they would, like, one of them would take the shot to take out the glass, and then in the, like, 1.5 seconds, they would have to, like, get visual confirmation.
Yeah.
For the other one to take the shot.
Yeah.
But, I thought that was a really interesting aspect of it that I wasn't quite expecting, out of the show. So that was cool. Right. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts on it, or should we talk about Planets Aligned?
Let's do Planets Aligned.
Okay. So Planets Aligned was episode 9 of season 1.
Yeah.
The final episode of season 1, starring Tatiana Maslany, as a woman who has been held captive by a man for 8 years of her life. She's like a 17-year-old girl in this episode, so she was abducted as a small child.
Yeah, not 9 years old, probably.
Yeah. And the episode kind of centers around the man going out and abducting another young girl and bringing her back to the house. And, like, this setup, this premise alone was a really strong, like, setup for an episode.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, that... Okay. Did you ever see the movie Room with Brie Larson?
No, I know what it is.
Yeah. It's emotionally just freaking... It's a hard watch. But it deals with that. And Brie Larson is amazing. Jacob Tremblay is amazing in it. But yeah, like, ever since I saw that movie in, like, 2014, I've always been, like, just in the background of my mind, I've been thinking, like, it's just so just fucked up to think, like, there, like, countless people could be being held captive against their will.
Yeah.
And, like, no one knows. Like, the neighbor that's super quiet and everything. It's such a fucked up thing. And like just in general, like human trafficking and everything.
It's terrifying.
Absolutely just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the Kroger by my apartment that I shop at.
Okay.
I guess someone tried to abduct a woman, broad daylight, and she was able to get away, but it was suspected human trafficking. And I'm like, that's where I shop.
Yeah. That's the thing I don't know.
That's the thing I'm sensitive about.
Yeah. God, that is so fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
That's real scary.
Good God. So anyway, the episode.
The episode, yeah.
Does a good job of demonstrating that. Like, there's such a unique premise in that Tatiana Maslany's character has lived in this world for most of her life.
She has huge Stockholm.
Yes.
Like, it's bad.
Yeah, and they deal with that. And they deal with that very delicately. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely not black and white.
Right.
You know.
It's, it's another kind of Jules-centric kind of, what do they call it? Like, a Jules run or whatever. Like, what do they call, like, the actual, like, when they get a call and they go, is it a run? Or, like, do they have a word for it? Like, the actual scenarios of the episodes? Are you following me?
No.
No. Like, when they have, like, a run or whatever, they get a call and they go to the...
she's the primary.
She's the primary.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
and Greg was her second.
Gotcha. So yeah, and the kind of setup of it, like the man, who is acting, I just, like you had mentioned, like the father's acting in the earlier scenes was bad, and I agree.
And I guess you were confused and you thought that the abductor was her father?
No, I was confused because I thought that you were referring to
No, I said the father. The father was his kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
And his acting wasn't great.
I only listen to about 60% of the words you say, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It does make.
Peter Stebbings played Gerald.
Okay.
I thought he was good.
Really?
He's creepy and kind of smarmy and charming, but like there's something off about him, and I thought that played well.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think that he just had.
I think you just wanted to agree with me, and now you're stuck, and you have to dig this hole deeper.
No, he had this kind of way about him that it felt like he was just kind of coked out, like as an actor.
Well, here's the thing: he knew he'd been made.
Right.
He knew, like, the police had surrounded his home, and that, like, he'd gotten away with this for 8 years.
Yeah.
If he hadn't taken Lily, he would have, gotten away with it for how many more?
Sure.
But he messed up, and, like, it's over for him. He's not getting out of this.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Just in general, his performance just didn't do it for me.
But okay. Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, she was incredible.
Beautiful performance.
Yeah, and
this was like right before she got really famous.
Okay. I was gonna ask because like she's very young in it. Like, she looks young in it, and like it's just such a strong performance. I can tell why her career has kind of flourished. And
a beautifully written episode. Just the dialogue was fantastic. The connection that that Jules made and really, I mean, I thought the little girl who played Lily Deacon, the little girl who'd been abducted was really good too.
Yes,
she was good. Yeah, she was really sweet.
As playing like the kind of frightened person of it.
And then of course, the hero, Vicky Papovs.
Oh yes,
Papovs, who played Pearl. Her name was Pearl. They never call her Pearl, but the gas station lady who called in.
She was great, and like that's a situation that I like. Okay, would you be able to like perform under pressure, like that kind of like? Would you be able to think like if you saw a guy with a gun and you suspected that he was abducting this little kid? Like, would you be able to like?
I like to hope that I would, but I've never been in a situation like that. I don't know how I would react.
I don't know if I would be able to perform. Like,
bring us back on track.
Hey,
then.
Shut up. There's nothing that's cut out of this episode, Kyrsten. So, I hate you so much right now. But we talked about this also when we talked about the episode with the bank robbery. Who's George? Because like I said, I would just like you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
It would just go over my head. But like this would be a thing where it would just be like, huh, I just saw this newscast about this little girl, but he said she was a boy, so okay. But like the cleverness of her to like have her,
with the lollipop.
Yeah.
Yeah. She chased after the car to get the license plate. She was so brave.
Yeah.
Pearl, you're my hero.
Right. It kind of bugged me, like, just for the start, because she wasn't looking at the car when she was on the phone with them. I'm like if you were like, okay, calling 911 and everything, like the first thing would be like, oh, he's here at the gas station, he's pump this.
You would think,
this,
yeah. But I mean, but like we never know how we're gonna react. You know, it's I saw like a study that had been done where people set up like a scenario, and then it was like, I don't know, some kind of robbery that they staged, and then they were like questioning witnesses just to see how reliable human memory and human recall is. And most people got stuff wildly wrong, you know, and they're trying to be helpful and provide information, but you know, they only get a glimpse, you know, or, you know, something happens and they hide, or, you know, they're so in shock that they just can't remember.
Super unreliable.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was a very good episode.
It's a beautiful episode.
Yeah, it was a good ender to the season. It's 9 episodes. That's kind of a weird.
And Jules' hug with Greg at the end. It was awkward and cute. Yeah.
But that also, I'm glad you brought that up, because it also kind of plays into this whole idea that, like, when you pitched the show to me, or when you were pitching it on the podcast when we first talked about it, you were like, it's about found family and everything. And it's like, I love seeing the kind of, like, the inclusiveness of them, or the closeness of them, as like they're not just coworkers or a unit. They're like they're
not just a bunch of guys. Like they're a team. They're a unit.
Yeah,
I totally stole that from an episode that comes up later.
Gotcha. All right. Well, so that's Flashpoint season 1 in the can. Yeah. So that's cool. We watched 2 episodes of Lost.
We did.
What'd you think?
Good.
Introduce them.
So we watched Confidence Man.
Yes.
Which was a Sawyer episode. You like to have me guess who I think the episode is going to be about. And I guessed Hurley both times, and I was wrong both times. I'm just really eager for a Hurley episode. Well, he had like a nice subplot in the second episode. But it was a Sawyer-centric episode, which is past due.
Yeah.
He is a main character.
He is the bad boy of the island.
Yeah. But I just... You know, the more we learn about Sawyer, I'm just less interested. Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to be like a big softy underneath, but like he's still kind of a jackass. And
well, that's how human beings are.
Like, human being. No, he would not have sat there and been tortured because he couldn't tell them that he didn't have the medicine.
Well, that's
not how human beings are.
Well, he's a dick, but like it's not. He's not going to magically like turn into like a good guy in 9 episodes. It's just like he's playing his role.
I do want to know what his real name is. My guess.
Yeah, what was your guess?
Dexter Lisbon.
Dexter Lisbon. Yes, that's not it.
Dexter Lisbon.
I can't remember.
I would go by Sawyer too.
Yeah, I can't remember what his real name is.
Must not be a big deal then. Thanks.
No, it is. It's revealed, and like characters refer to him as the real name throughout the show. I can't remember what it is, but isn't he dreamy though?
No. That's not the kind of character that I find attractive. I don't know, the long hair, he looks kind of greasy all the time.
Yeah.
You know, he's got kind of a smarmy look to him. That's not, nah.
Yeah. But he's a bad boy, though.
Yeah.
What did you think of his backstory that was revealed in this episode?
Interesting. He did get some humanization when he admits why he backed out of that deal. That's good stuff. But not my favorite episode.
Okay.
So.
Did you see the twist in it coming, like with the letter? Did you like?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't at all.
Did the revelation of that? Did that? Revelation, right? Yeah. Did the reveal of that? Did it help you? Did it soften your opinion of him, or were you just like?
I mean, a little bit. Like I said, it did. He did get humanized there at the end, but it doesn't make me care about him anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to make you want to make out with him in exchange for medicine that he doesn't have.
No, that was gross.
That's one of us. Just kidding. Josh Holloway's okay, but
yeah, that was. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
And I can't remember if it was in this episode, but there was a scene. I remember like seeing, because I didn't watch the first season when it aired. I came on board the show season 2, And so I watched
Fake
season
fan.
1 on DVD. Hey! But I remember seeing, like, ads for it, and, like, there are, like, we'll talk about this as we progress through this series, but, like, just, I don't, like, TV ads for shows for next week on whatever.
Yeah. You said that they gave away way too much.
Yeah, they gave away too much, and it's just, like, those types of things. Like, I'm so glad we live in a streaming world now. Like, I just watched the Twilight Zone on CBS All Access, and they did that after each episode. Like, the next one is this. But, like, I didn't watch any of them because I'm just like, I don't want to know.
You know, you can do that with regular TV, too. You can just turn it off.
Yeah, but, like, back then, like, we didn't have I didn't have, like, DVR or anything. And it's just, like, it was more... there was more like, this was the first, like, show for me and for, like, the internet hive mind as a whole that the internet kind of latched onto, and it was a very big, like, conversation show.
Yeah.
So, like, inevitably, like, even if I didn't watch the next times,
it still gets spoiled for you.
And talked about.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes you just can't avoid seeing it. And, like, for this episode,
I feel like it would have been pretty easy back then, though.
Well, I mean, if you're just watching, like, network TV, it's kind of hard to, like, and if, like, back then
back then, like, when did Twitter come out? I mean, it's not like...
I mean, like, I'm talking about just regular, like, broadcast television. Like, if you're, if at the time I was living at home while I was at
I know.
USI,
but you're like, even if I don't watch it, it'll get spoiled for me. But, like, the internet culture wasn't what it is now.
Right.
Back then.
There was, like, I mean, there were, like, message boards and forums and stuff.
But that's easy to, if you don't want to see it, just don't go to it.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, it's not like, I'm going to get on Twitter and just browse my Twitter. Like, oh no, spoilers because they're everywhere. No, they were only in specific places.
I agree, and I'm picking up what you're putting down now. But also, just the internet conversation was something that I was into because it was it was like a global internet conversation about a show that I loved.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not, like, watching it and navigating those types of spoilers, but also engaging in the conversation was a lot harder then. That's what I'm getting at. So anyway.
Okay.
But for this one, like, I remember there being a scene, and this was before I watched it, where, like, Sawyer was, like, Jack goes up to Sawyer and he's like, what did you do? Or, like, what went on with you and Kate? And then, or, like, what did you do with Kate or whatever? And then he's like, nothing, she didn't want to, or something. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I think it's later in the season. But, like, I just, like, that was what stuck out in that promo. And even though I didn't watch it that season, I just remember that being in a promo, and I'm like, it's just, like, it's putting the not wrong emphasis on something in the episode, but, like, having, like, a highlight from an episode in the previews for next time enhances that and puts importance on that scene in context of the episode. And it's just like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter that scene or any reveals or anything. So anyway, what did you think of the rest of Confidence Man? Like, the whole thing with Saeed and his torture stuff.
It was really good setup for the following episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to torture him. Like, if they believed that, I mean, I was, talking to you during,
Right.
They
Instead of watching, I'm kidding.
First of all, shut up. Second of all, they get 3 or 4 guys to hold him down and go through all of his stuff. I don't think it would be that hard,
My apologist thing, I said to you when you brought that up, was like, well, he could have different stashes somewhere. Like, no one knows where he puts everything, because Boone was in his stash in the jungle.
Yeah, but he says
and he had to bring
he got into it, and I had to bring it all here. So I don't know. I think I guess I would assume that all of his stuff is in one place, but I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, and also, like, we're making a lot of kind of leaps here, but also you got to think this aired in 2004. Like, torture was a hot button issue and everything, so that's,
But, like, I get the mindset, like, got to do, I mean, it's get this medicine or she dies, and they have every reason to believe that he has it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not doing it, like, just to torture him.
Right.
There's a reason. Like, he should have just said, I don't have it.
Yeah.
That was annoying to me. Like, what's the point?
Sure.
And it's like Kate said, it's like you want everyone to hate you.
Because he's the bad boy.
I just don't get why he didn't just say, like, don't have it. I don't have it, Freckles. Like,
well, that spot on impression, by the way.
Hey, Freckles, make out with me, Freckles. Right. They kissed, and it was like, he's all bloody, and he probably tastes like blood. And she was like into it, and I'm like, Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
And I asked you, would you kiss him? Would you let him extort you for that kiss in that scenario if it meant a suffering woman gets her medicine?
Yeah, I would probably give him a quick peck on the lips, and that's it. And then, that's it.
Cool.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm secure enough in my heterosexuality that I would be, sure.
Would you have been totally into it like Kate?
No, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, it would have been steamy.
Yeah. Settle down. So I don't like that. So yeah, so that episode was good for you, I guess. Or
I said it was
liked
alright.
it. Yeah.
It's not my favorite episode.
Okay.
Sawyer's not my favorite character.
Sure. I'm so excited because I know where these characters go and I know I know stuff and I'm so excited.
Solitary.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
That was good. It's kind of, it's information that we've been waiting for. Like we finally get some more information on the French woman, the woman who left the distress signal.
Yeah.
Am I correct in assuming she was the one who knocked Saeed unconscious a couple episodes ago?
Get that reveal.
Okay.
That is still a mystery that's up in the air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just assumed that it was her because she's the one who doesn't want, what Locke says to Saeed, who has something to gain from us not leaving the island. And I was thinking maybe the French woman, I guess.
Yeah. And I can follow that logic, but we'll see.
There are the others.
Yes.
And now, I mean, Saeed heard them.
Mm-hmm. Or did he?
Like she said, they whispered to me.
How do you feel about Rousseau? Like the French woman? Like how
definitely
do you feel
sympathetic toward her because she's been alone on this island for 16 years. But as it turns out, she may have just murdered everyone who was in her party. I don't think that. I don't know. I think that. I mean, she's been alone, solitary for so long. I don't know that she murdered them. She says that they were sick and that they were like infected, and I mean. There's something there. There's got to be something there, to that. So maybe she did murder them, and maybe it was, because they got sick with something and turned on her, or I don't know. But then there's Alex. She apparently has a baby named Alex, and I'm like, is Alex still out there? Because she was like, what'd you do with Alex? But I'm like, but then at the end she says he was my child, and I'm like, was past tense,
yeah. Interesting pickup.
But yeah, I definitely felt sympathy toward her because once she and Saeed had a rapport going, she didn't want to hurt him. She wanted to keep him there so she would have someone,
that she can keep touching his face weird.
Yeah. But I mean, I wish that she had gone, like, I want her to be with the rest of the people.
Do you? Because that's an interesting, because the line that always stood out to me that I really like in this episode is when he has the gun on her and he fires, but she's like, the firing pin has been removed. Robert made the same mistake. Like, that's just like, like, I'm like, I don't want her around my losties.
Take her gun away from her though, and then throw her out into the cave with the people. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's another survivor,
Right, but she's not, like...
But, like, she's been alone for so long. Yeah. Like, how does she adjust to being around people again? It's,
Also,
can you, 16 years.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice, like, peace and quiet, though.
You asked me to come over.
Yeah. I just, hey.
What?
Nothing. I just
hey. Yeah. A good subplot in the episode with Hurley.
Yes.
Who wants to, come up with something for the people on the island to do because they're restless and they're anxious and they're scared, and so he builds a golf course.
Yeah.
It's really nice and it's a lot of fun. It's a really cute scene.
Yeah. Cool. How do you feel about the mysteries of the island and everything now? Like, because we got some expansion on that. We met the French woman.
Yeah.
She
got a little bit of information from her.
I did.
And well, I mean, this is confirmation. They didn't know she was still alive.
Right.
And she is. There are other people, or at least one other person on the island, and, and then the others that she refers to,
But how do you feel? Like, how much of that do you think is reliable information?
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, she's been on the island for so long. I said earlier, I don't know. Did she actually kill everyone else in her party, or is it just like a distortion of events because she's kind of lost it at this point? Lost it. I don't know.
She does mention the Black Rock. She says they.
Yeah, and he asks her what's the Black Rock, and she doesn't answer.
And I like that because I feel like this is episode 9 of the first season, and like I feel like that, either intentional or not, was like Saeed becomes like the audience conduit. Like, what's the Black Rock? What's the others? What's going on? And like he doesn't get any answers.
Yeah.
I liked that. But anyway, yeah. What do you make of that? What do you think the Black Rock is?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's the place where the people went where they got this sickness or something. Maybe there's something radioactive. Okay. Maybe that infects you. In there. Cool. I don't know.
Cool.
Or maybe that's where the smoke monster lives.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, you don't know that it's a smoke monster yet.
The monster.
It's just a monster.
The monster. Well, yeah.
I
liked Solitary more than Confidence Man.
Okay.
It was really interesting. Saeed has a really interesting backstory, and it was really cool to see more of that and see kind of where he came from. And
right. And what did you think of the backstory?
It was really compelling.
Yeah.
I felt his face, like when they're going to the execution, his face was so broken. Yeah. It was a really good performance.
Yeah, like when he hands her the hood, like just like there's
he didn't hand it to her, he dropped it in front of her.
But like there's a close up of Naveen Andrews, I think is the actor's name. But like it's not like he's not like bawling or anything, but like you can see like his eyes are watery. It's just like that little detail is just a nice touch.
Yeah, it was a really good performance.
Yeah. So anything else on Lost Point?
Did they leave off on a cliffhanger? What was it?
Oh, they just left off on Saeed walking through the jungle and hearing whispers.
Oh, right, yeah. The others. Yeah.
Do you think that he's really hearing them, or
I do?
Okay,
because I know there's other people on the island.
Oh, is there? Though?
I do know, yeah. Because I know Rose's husband has come back at some point.
Well,
I know he's alive, and then like I think there's the people with the numbers, so with the code. You know,
so awesome. I'm so excited.
So
I mean, that could
I do think that he's hearing like actual other people.
Okay, cool.
Maybe he is doubting it himself though. He's like, like that.
Yeah, sure.
He's singing Star is Born.
Oh, yes. So anything else on Lost Point, or should we wrap it up with the Twilight Zone? Do you still want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay. So that's our Lost Point segment, and we're going to end this episode with a kind of quick chat about the new Twilight Zone series that I've been reviewing at anthologypod.com. Yes. So I did, the season has had a lot of kind of ups and downs, but it also has had a lot of pointed episodes that are depicting like certain things in our culture, in our society. So I wanted to show you the toxic masculinity episode titled Not All Men. It's episode 7 of season 1. Stars Ike Barinholtz, Tessa Farmiga, and Rhea Seehorn, and Luke Kirby. I just posted my review on Anthology. Check that out at anthologypod.com. Since I have talked ad nauseum about that episode is of Anthology is like an hour and 50 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just me talking.
Mansplaining.
Well, I wasn't mansplaining, but I do want to talk to you about a specific scene in that. So anyway, how did you feel about Not All Men? Like, what did you think of the episode and everything?
It was a really interesting concept, to sort of, parallel, toxic masculinity. And
should we spoil it? Let's right now we'll do non-spoilers if we can.
I thought the concept was better than the execution.
Okay.
Just because some of it was kind of I don't know, it was the comedy was pushed to almost farcical levels at some point.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is something that is a big deal to me. I'm a woman and I'm a feminist. And it affects my life on a pretty regular basis, toxic masculinity.
And I'm one of those.
You are toxic. Yeah.
No, I was, because you said you're a woman and a feminist, and I'm like, I'm one of those.
And I had just said toxic masculinity, and you said I'm one of those. And
I'm masculine.
And you're toxic.
Well, hey, I'm the bad boy podcaster.
Like that Britney Spears song.
Oh, yeah. I
Toxic.
sang that at karaoke one time. When I was
It's a good song, and it's ruined now.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that like what you said earlier, the cold open, everything before the credits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a complete standalone story, and that nails it. And it was handled seriously, and I feel like parts of the rest of the episode are not handled seriously. Like the seriousness of how dangerous men can be was kind of thrown aside for the sake of a couple jokes.
Yeah, almost satirical kind of look at it.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that you need comedy to relieve tension. And it's not. It is. I don't know. It's like take it seriously, guys.
Yeah, and that's something that
like the Ike Barinholtz scene was amazing.
So good.
That was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Like he says, I think I don't know if I would say you missed this specific part, but like he has this scene where he's like, just the way he says it is so just chilling. He's like, blow out the candles. And then he's like, but you gotta make a wish. And just like the way he says it is just so chilling and ew, creepy. Yeah, so, that's cool. Like what parts did you think, like that weren't serious or like that you thought were taking it too far?
I don't know, like the whole crazy night, huh?
Oh, God, I hate that so much.
The scene where they're like the guys are playing in the fountain slow motion.
Yeah.
It's like
that was kind of a small point of contention I brought up in my review on Anthology, that like it felt like, okay, there's a moment where I think it's Zeke is screaming like "fuck you, Chad" and "fuck you," some woman's name. But I heard on another Twilight Zone podcast that apparently that's like Chad obviously is a reference to like Chads, and, like the incel community, like kind of like
you don't want to be a Chad,
And then I guess the other name he says is also a reference to like an incel community.
What was it? I didn't
like
catch it.
Brandy or something.
Oh.
Like, from what I understand from an episode of the Twilight Zone podcast I listened to, that's called the Twilight Zone podcast with Tom Elliott. It's fantastic. He says, or his guest, Willow, said that the name like Brandy or whatever other name is like in the incel community is apparently like, supposed to be like code for like a woman who is like super pretty and thinks she's better than everyone or something.
Oh, okay.
So, but immediately after that, like that alone is interesting and like that's an interesting piece of like kind of subtle dig at a ridiculous fucking thing. But then like the next one is like the another man says like "fuck your feelings," and like in my review on Anthology, I said that felt a little too much like it was veering off into like stereotypical kind of like depictions of men, like oh, I'm a man, so I don't care about your feelings or the feelings of others because I'm a man. But I think in the Twilight Zone podcast I referenced, they mentioned that it was like their read of it was that it was kind of depicting like, oh, men shouldn't have feelings or anything. Like,
sure.
Like kind of just the notion that like men who are emotionally vulnerable are not men.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on any of that, or or was it just like, oh, what the fuck are they doing in the fountain?
I was more focused on what the fuck are they doing in the fountain. I would lean more toward men aren't supposed to have feminine emotions.
Right.
I'm doing air quotes because there's no such thing as feminine emotions. Like, let boys cry.
Right.
Let boys feel things.
Yeah.
Let them get angry. Yeah. But
right?
You need to calm down. You need to relax. Relax. Hey, Matt, relax. Matt.
I'm relaxed.
Relax. No, some parts of the episode were really like dead on. I mean, the some men just have, feel like they have just the right, to
this entitlement
parts of women.
Yeah, that's because like the whole opening segment. I was just like, that is not in like just the progression of it, because like in the opening scene where she's at the office, it's like just like it starts so subtly. Like if you're not
even
aware,
from the beginning, I was on edge because she says no, and then he keeps pushing, and she kind of gives in, but she doesn't seem comfortable.
Right.
She kind of smiles when he walks away, but she said no, and that should have been the end.
Yeah.
That should have been the end.
Right.
You know. What really got to me is when she's talking to Martha in the car, and she reveals that like he kind of went crazy, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "I did. I tried to. I was gonna. I didn't say anything." And that's. I mean, she's even trying to kind of defend his actions, you know. And I mean that is what women do, you know,
make excuses. I think that's kind of like Martha as a character was kind of a cipher for that type of thing, because she her relationship with Mike is something that really stood out to me, because like he references that like, oh, he is somewhat jokingly saying like, oh, I wouldn't let her go into a French wait staff.
Yeah, and it's a joke. It's a joke.
And she's like, "Oh, he's my big brave hero." It's like it's just like that subtle misogyny that's so present throughout it, and also like this is something I've been guilty of, and you've called me out on it before, and it's always stood out to me. But like the way that there are like numerous times that men refer to Annie, Tessa Farmiga's character, as the girl in the office, or just girl. Like
she's a woman. Yeah, she's not a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's a coworker. She's an
that's
employee.
the thing that bugs me.
Yeah,
men are men.
Right.
That's it. Like you're not going to call anyone who is over the age of 18 a boy.
Yeah.
You know, but women are girls until they're old women.
Right.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
It just. When something happens to a woman, it's always, what did she do to put herself in this situation?
Yeah.
You know, was she dressing slutty? Was she drinking too much? You know, she let him on, didn't she? You know, and it's like, it's not because a woman did something, it's because a man did something to a woman, you know? And I'm, not always. Yeah. You know.
But the scene at the beginning with the date gone horribly wrong, I kept thinking, throughout the episode, that's so well written because it's so real. Well,
the escalation is slow. Yeah, you know, and everything starts out consensual. You know, and then she tells him, you know, I'm going to leave now, and he freaks out. Like he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and that stuff happens every day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, okay. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I mean, God, he could have raped her. He could have murdered her. He could have, beaten her up. You know, but it doesn't have to be that for it to still be something that sticks with you.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so powerful in the episode, because by all accounts, it is horrible. It's some stuff that should have never happened, but it's still something that you could see him justifying in his own way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and just
totally.
the way...
Well, and also, as a woman in that moment, you never know if you're going to get home safe.
Right.
You know, when he's there and he's grabbing her arm and yelling at her...
Yeah.
You know, is this it? Is he going to... Is he going to kill me?
Yeah.
You know? Is he going to attack me?
In Tessa Farmiga's performance there, in the next scene after the credits, when she's getting ready and she notices the bruise,
the bruising,
the very next scene is her in long sleeves at work, clutching her arms. It's it's so vulnerable and kind of a confused vulnerability because it's something she doesn't know how to process. So I just really appreciated that detail in it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything else about it?
No, Ike Barinholtz was really good.
He was so good.
His performance was... I mean, he's a guy who normally does comedy stuff, and to see him in such a creepy role was really nice.
Yeah.
I did like the scene where her boss is like, it's not all the men, it's not all men. I'm like, shut up about not all men.
Okay, I agree. And I
felt bad for him, though, because he did,
I did too. I liked that scene in theory because I feel like that represented okay, they have toxic masculinity has been so present and everything, and like it's obviously taken a forefront in the town and everything, but like it's to the point where it's like they legitimately cannot believe anyone. Like
yeah, you can't trust anyone.
There's no trust there.
Yeah, well, that's
everything.
that's just like in the real world.
Yeah,
it's not all men. No one is saying literally all men are rapists and murderers.
Yeah.
No one is saying that.
Right.
No, it's not all men, but it is enough men to justify my fear of men.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, and also I do want to mention the mansplaining scene. Because first of all, like Phil as a character, I just felt like he was just kind of one note in that, because he was the one that was a know-it-all. Like he's telling her about like, oh, these are the procedures that we need to do and everything, and like, oh, this is eggplant terrine, and this is the water is probably the oxygen.
Even his wife interrupts him like during the dinner,
which that kind of bothered me a little bit, like
because she should keep her mouth.
Yes,
shut.
Exactly. No, basically, because like the scene is that Mike is telling the story, and then he references like the eggplant terrine. The whole point of the story is he's talking about going and getting the recipe, and then like there's a beat, and then Phil is like, actually, the eggplant terrine is all that, and then Olivia is like, oh, why don't you mansplain that to us another time? And it's like like in my head, it's like he's from my perspective, and he's not mansplaining because he's not directly like referencing something that one of the women said.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's correcting something that Mike
said. Yeah, and it's like in my review on Anthology, I was like, okay, yes, it is dull. It is of interest to no one.
Well,
but it's not. And it's obnoxious, but it's not.
And also, typically, mansplaining is usually used for you're not just explaining something to a woman. You're explaining something to a woman that a woman has a better understanding.
Mm-hmm. Like using a condescending tone, like I just did right now.
Yeah, you're trying to mansplaining. Yes. Like a good example is like a woman who is an astrophysicist. Mm-hmm. Posts something on Twitter, and some average Joe who thinks he knows a little something about the solar system comes on and is like, well, actually, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, dude, I'm an astrophysicist.
Right.
Like, she's an expert in this field. Yeah. And because she's a woman, you automatically assume that she knows nothing about this subject. Stuff like that. Like, there was someone who, it was I screenshotted the tweets a while ago, Gail Simone, who is a comic book writer.
Did you talk about this on the podcast at all?
I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, anyway.
But she made a joke on Twitter about, but Punisher would be more attractive if he smiled more, and then some guy responded, was like, actually, there's quite a bit in his backstory that would explain why he doesn't smile. It's kind of a big point of his character.
God.
And then she responded with pictures of comic books on her shelf, and he's like, okay, I don't see what point you're trying to make. From what I see, a bunch of mostly female-centric comic books that don't prove my point at all. And then another woman chimed in and was like, dude, look at the names on the books. And then he's like, okay, so she writes comic books. That makes it worse because she should know that the Punisher doesn't smile. And then Gail Simone is like, dude, between the two of us, which of us has actually written for the Punisher? Like,
yeah. God, that's so, like, that type of, like, takedown is great and everything. I have seen, and this is a minefield of a topic. This is really, something else, but.
It shouldn't be. Just, like, don't assume that women are idiots, and that's it.
Like, in this scenario that I'm about to posit, like, okay, I saw, like, something, like, a situation like this that someone was accused of being mansplained to, or like someone was
being accused of mansplaining.
Mansplaining, yes. It was basically like a writer for a media outlet that was like reviews movies and stuff, posted a list of like, oh, these are the top 10 blah 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 movies or whatever. And
this is a male or female writer?
The female writer.
Okay.
And a male responded to it and said like, oh, I can't believe that, or like, this movie should be on it, or like this movie should be on it, and then like that turned into like a whole like, oh, he's mansplaining this list and everything. It's like, in that case, I feel like, because like, she said like, oh, if I was a man, like people wouldn't be saying that, and I'm like, I kind of feel like in that situation they would, because it's like a subjective thing that you're like putting, like it's not saying like these are the essential like movies of this list that no other movies can be on. It's like it's
sure, yeah,
discussion. Like I just feel like it's kind of tricky because it's like, do how do you, like, in that vague ass scenario I just gave you, like, how would you, like, react to it? Because it feels just kind of, I don't know.
It's hard to make a call without seeing it actually, first person, but
do you
okay. Mm-hmm. It's not factual based, like you said. It's your opinion.
Yeah.
And everyone's opinion is going to be different. This isn't like I say something that is, based in fact. Oh, but actual,
right.
I'm going to prove that I'm smarter than you or something. Or I don't, mansplaining is just something that you feel. In your soul.
Maybe I should rephrase it. Like, am I an asshole? Am I a subtly misogynist asshole for thinking like, okay, that's not mansplaining. That's just a person giving their opinion. Or am I being too...
No, you can't say that. Anytime someone disagrees with a woman, they're mansplaining. That's not what mansplaining is.
I don't think you're right there, but see what I did there?
See, I feel like it's not mansplaining because I'm not an expert in Well, I kind of am. I did get mansplained at work a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. You tweeted about it, didn't you?
I think I did, yeah. I'm going to look up the actual definition of mansplaining.
But while you do that, how did you feel about the Twilight Zone in general?
It was all right.
Okay. Did you notice the MAGA hats?
No.
There was like one shot in the bar where there was a man that was leaving that was wearing like a red cap.
No, I didn't catch it.
Okay. That's interesting because like that, when I was watching, I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that's just a nice like subtle thing. But then in the chaos of the town scene, like there's like 4 or 5 different MAGA hats, and I'm like, just let an Easter egg or let a reference or whatever just breathe. Don't double down on it and do it too much. So, I don't know. It kind of bothered me. But anyway, mansplaining. Or whatever you were looking in the definition.
Oh, yeah. Noun. The explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman, in a manner regarded as condescending or patronizing. Oop, just threw my phone.
Actually.
Shut up.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that does it for this episode. Any closing thoughts or anything?
Don't mansplain to a woman ever. Just,
But can people share their opinions of movies and reviews that you have said in this podcast?
No, because that would be mansplaining. And even if you're a woman, it's
Right.
No, I'm kidding. Disagree with me if you want. Totally.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I do frequently, so yeah.
You're typically wrong.
Well, I just don't, women explain. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for
Kyrsten
listening.
splaining.
God.
If you made it to the end, you deserve a prize.
Yes. This will do it for this episode. Next time on the podcast, I don't know what's going on, but check out our other podcasts, Tower Junkies and Anthology. And thank you guys so much for listening, and I think that'll do it. So, see you next time.
Okay, bye.
And now, here's a short clip from our Patreon exclusive RSS feed. To hear the full clip and more exclusive Patreon content, go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer and become a patron at the minimum rate of $1 per month. Thank you and enjoy.
$1 million cash, non-taxable, in your hand right now. In exchange for that, there is a snail that follows you everywhere you go. Listen to me.
Okay.
Its only instinct is to follow you and get to you. If it touches you, you die.
Ooh.
A horrible, painful death.
Have you ever
The snail cannot be killed. And all it wants to do is find you.
Okay.
Would you take the money? Answer, and then I will give you my much better answer.
Okay. First of all, have you seen It Follows?
No.
That's the plot of It Follows.
A snail?
No, not exactly. It Follows is actually amazing. It's a horror film about
a snail?
No. It's like a kind of demon entity that follows people. It's like a sexually transmitted thing. So like a woman has sex and
This is not exactly
No.
my hypothetical though. Are you
So yes, I would fuck the snail.
You're fucking the snail? Like in the shell or what?
And that is the title of this Patreon episode. God damn it. No, like anyway, it's a very like we should watch it sometime.
The Obsessive Viewer podcast is edited and produced by Matt Hurt and presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. For a full archive of our episodes, go to ObsessiveViewer.com/OV archive. You can also like our Facebook page and join the OV Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And follow us on Twitter at ObsessiveViewer and at ObsessiveTiny. And follow our recurring co-hosts at I am Mike White, that's me, at R.A. Feckus, and at Burger_Lurker. If you enjoy the show, please take a couple minutes to leave us a rating and a quick review on Apple Podcasts. This is the easiest way to support what we do, and all it costs is a little bit of your time. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. Or support us on Patreon for recurring donations and access to commentary tracks and B-roll audio recorded exclusively for patrons at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. Or you can simply search for Obsessive Viewer at teepublic.com, T-E-E, public.com. For information about our annual live event showcasing short horror films from local filmmakers, check out shocktoberinirvington.com. And for an archive of all our events, as well as news about potential future events, head over to obsessiveviewer.com/live. For more podcast content, you can find Anthology, Matt's solo podcast covering the Twilight Zone and other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows at anthologypod.com and on Twitter at OVAnthologyPod. You can also find Tower Junkies, a podcast where Matt and Tiny share their love of all things Stephen King and his magnum opus, the Dark Tower series, at towerjunkiespod.com and at towerjunkiespod on Twitter. And finally, check out The Secular Perspective, Tiny's side project podcast, which tackles current events and life's big questions from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda at thesecularperspective.com. The theme music for The Obsessive Viewer comes courtesy of the band Loudlike from their EP Mistakes We Must Make. Additional bumper music is provided courtesy of As Good As It Gets, which can be found at facebook.com/asgoodasitgetsband. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Kitty!